What is good, YouTube world? Welcome back to the channel. The Boom-BapHistorian is here, and as I mentioned, if you watched the previous video, I'm just going to touch on some Bay Area classics. This is another one. This one was released April 14th in 1992. I'm going to jam through the track list. This is an individual who, like these other artists that I'm going to kind of go through on this section of the channel, I'm just going to hit some Bay Area classics. We're talking my top 5, 10, 15, maybe top 20, maybe if I go as 25, 30. But this is the debut album from Spice One entitled Spice One. Spice One released an EP, 7 tracks through Triad Records. Let It Be Known. There was a handful of tracks from that album that made it to this record, but this was his debut LP that came shortly after the EP was released, which that EP was absolutely nuts and bonkers when I first heard that, and you knew at that moment Spice One was going to be a problem. He went on to release 187 he wrote, what else, 1996, and then I know there's another one, I can't think of it right off the top of my head, but America's Nightmare, that's what it was. And then kind of fell off, and he's coming back now and doing a lot of interviews and putting out new music, but that little stretch right there, first 3 or 4 albums were just absolutely nuts. And so this is one of those that may be in my top 5 as well, but it probably was my top 10, as I mentioned with the previous one, if you watched The Illegal Business by Mac Mull. Yeah, man, so this is another fantastic album. Spice One, coming from the Bay. He was down pretty much representing with the Dangerous Crew, the Too Short, and Banks. And then, yeah, let's get into it. So the lead track is In My Neighborhood, and I'm pretty sure In My Neighborhood actually came off the Let It Be Known EP, followed by 187 Proof. Really dope. Spice One telling a story. Basically, every character is alcohol. He does something at the end of the record with 187 Pure. That is track 14. I'll kind of digress from that, but 187 Proof is a really dope storytelling track by Spice One. And then the reggae influenced East Bay Gangster is a super dope, fresh track. And then he goes into Money Gone, which has some really interesting flow pauses. I remember when I first got this record, I thought maybe the record was broke because some of these, but but it's just the style that he portrayed on that track. And then it goes into 1-800 Spice, or 1-800 SPICE. It's a very short track. I don't think it even hit 2 minutes, but it's super dope. It's just him with the quick flow. That might have as well been on the Let It Be Known EP. And then Peace to My Nine. And then track 7 is Young. Then the really dope track 8 is Welcome to the Ghetto. Welcome to the Ghetto is a super fresh track that also has a really dope video and just kind of goes over what was happening in the Bay Area. And really, you probably can just say what was happening in a lot of young black lives, but I think this one was more centered around Spice One growing up and the things that he saw growing up in the Bay Area, around the Oakland area, Hayward. And I believe that one does have a video, and I can't remember if that was on, I don't think that was on the Let It Be Known soundtrack, or EP. And then it goes in Fucked in the Game, pretty dope song. Money or Murder, another really cool song. And then the really dope City Streets, which was on the EP. And then it goes into 1-900 Spice, and then the super dope Break Yourself, which that was also off the EP, and that features the late MC Ant, who, if you're a hip hop fan of the Bay Area or just rap fan of the Bay Area, you know MC Ant. I believe he got to release at least one album back in, I think, the late 80s, very, very early 90s. And then the album finishes off with the track that I mentioned earlier with the 187 Pure, which is a kind of a flip on the 187 Proof, which is where he uses like drugs and so forth as the narration for the individuals. So it's kind of a spin-off of the 187 Proof. But yeah, man, Spice One, the Spice One debut album. It's a staple. It's a classic. It's everything you want in a Bay Area album. And I remember when this came out, I played it nonstop. I played it so much that I had to purchase it again. That's how much I played this record. And again, this is another one that when I moved to LA for a short time up in the SoCal area, up in the Santa Ana area, folks weren't really onto this album. Then they kind of got on to Spice One, because Spice One started to do some collaborations with MC8. I think the Murder Show was one of the first big tracks I had, and I think they had one other one after that. And then Spice became, I don't want to say famous, but kind of got known too, because then he was on Menace Society soundtrack with Trigger God's No Heart, which was also on his one of his albums as well. So again, hopefully y'all find this intriguing for those that just enjoy Bay Area rap music. As we dive into these, maybe just kind of rehash some of the projects that you enjoyed when you were young. I mean, you're talking, I was probably not even really, before I was even 20. We're talking 16, 15, 16, 17, 18 years old, and these are the albums that I listened to heavy, and I still do. These are the ones that I know word for word, every track, just enjoyed it. Spice One of my favorite artists to come out of the Bay Area, has a really dope discography. It's pretty dope that he still makes music today. So again, maybe there's a project that is near and dear to you. Hit me with that and see if it's something I remember or something I listen to, because right now there's a lot of albums that I come across through the Bay that I never had an opportunity to listen to, whether it's lost archives or just lost albums, and kind of seen the light of today, or just trying to dabble into some of the stuff that I just missed, in record stores or back in the day. So hit me up. I hope you find these enjoyable. More coming from the Bay Area scene. Stay tuned, because in addition to that, we are going to have some reviews of some newer projects as well. And let's just keep this thing rolling. So please click, like, subscribe. Hopefully it's kind of cool taking you down the golden days, the golden era. What do you want to call it? The golden days, golden age, golden era. That includes so many different areas, from LA to the Bay to Texas, Detroit, New York, that all make up this hip-hop rap music scene. So again, like, subscribe, continue to follow. More reviews coming. All right, see ya.